Hi there, I'm Nicole Wilbur. I am a writer and story nerd, and today we are planning a scene together. So I am about to write scene 5 of my novel 1837, and I've been doing a very different sort of process for the second draft than I did for the first draft. The first draft, I did like a signposted milestone outline, and then I wrote it and Discovery wrote it and just kind of went for it. That did not work, and you can hear all about that up above. This time I am doing planning not only for the novel. I have another video where I'm telling you where I talk about how I'm using Brandon Sanderson's outlining style, which is quite detailed. And also I am outlining or planning my scenes better. Okay. So the first thing that I'm doing is I'm copying over the description from my outline into the actual document. So what is actually happening in this scene? We have a ball scene. It's really a dance at the lieutenant governor's manor. And in this scene, we are having a meet cute thing, although they technically already know each other. The other thing that I want to happen at this ball is, so far in the story, I haven't super gone into the political stuff. Again, I just did the introduction. So in the introduction, I tried to focus on just like the characters. Let's try to get invested in the characters a little bit and create empathy, that kind of thing. So that was the first 4 scenes. I also have to start showing some of the political intrigue type stuff in here, because if I wait too long to put some of the political stuff in, that's going to be bad. So I know what has to happen. Then I fill in the magical cookies. I'm going to put the link to the article down there. Basically, the philosophy behind it is that every scene should have something in it that you love, and you should be excited to write every single scene. And if you're not excited to write the scene, you need to sit down and figure out how you can make yourself excited to write the scene. Because if you're not excited to write it, then who would be excited to read it? Problem. While I was writing the first draft of this, I had a lot of scenes that I was like, oh, we just have to get through this. No, you have to have those little magic diamonds, those things that are like, oh yeah, I get to write about this in every single scene. So we have a meet cute scene at the ball. What am I excited to write about? Or what is the magical cookie? The magical cookie in this scene is the love interest, because he is a very mischievous character. And their meet cute is he's playing a prank. And I'm super excited to write about that and have him be super sort of mysterious and almost bad boyish. Part of the inspiration of this relationship came from Downton Abbey with Branson and Sybil, and then part of it is like Fred and George. Very obscure reference, but there's a thing in Harry Potter where before the Yule Ball, Ron asks his brother, I think it's Fred, and he was like, "Do you have a date?" And he was like, "Oh, maybe not." He yelled, "Oi, Angelina, go to the ball with me," and she was like, "Yeah," and he said, "Okay, yeah, I have a date." And anyways, all the whole Fred and George thing is very funny, very prankstery. So that's kind of who this character is. He's like a mix between like a rebel kind of thing and a prankster, mischievous, and I'm really excited to write him. The magical cookie from there is like the main character being really stern, but then like laughing and being into it, even though she doesn't want to be. I think the other magical cookie in this is that I get to start introducing the setting, the world, the different families and things that are super important and that are going to play in later. So there's a lot of like hints and things being dropped about the overall political structure. The next thing that I'm doing is I am actually writing out a script for the scene. It's so funny because I also read this on the same blog post, which I will link below, the magical cookies one. And the idea is that you like write out the dialogue in the scene with maybe a few like action pieces before you go in and write it. It's so funny because in the Anatomy of Story, they give you the exact opposite advice, and I guess that's because it's a screenplay, but they're like, first you write all of the action and description, and then you add in the dialogue, and then you add in the symphonic dialogue, and then you add in the moral dialogue. And this one is like, write the dialogue and then add in like the descriptions and actually write the scene. And this is how I think, because when things are going really well, I, as author, like I act out the scene, basically. When I'm like super inspired, I act out the scene. I pace around my room, I have my phone, I press the record button, and I do the voices for this one. Even though they live in Canada, they all have British accents, and I just pace around and act out the dialogue for the scene. So that is what I'm going to do now, is sort of pace / type / act out the dialogue and write my script. And then once I've finished my script, I will write my scene. I've taken a brief pause from my scripting to Google good pranks that you can do at a dance, because I can't think of anything. The only one I've thought of is like releasing a mouse, which would freak people out, but maybe not as much in 1837 Upper Canada. I feel like that might not actually be noticed as a prank. So we're gonna think about it for a minute. Aggie wanders around the ball and she notices that most people are not meeting her gaze. Okay, so I just spent the past like 15-20 minutes creating it's about a 500-word script with most of the dialogue, some of the, they arrive at the ball, they walk over here. Still haven't quite decided on the prank. I have to think about that one a little bit more, but the script is pretty much done. So now there's nothing to do but sit and write the scene. So that is how I am currently planning out my scenes for the second draft of my project. I would love to hear, do you do any sort of preparation before you write a scene? Do you just kind of jump right in and get to it? Please let me know down in the comments, and thank you so much for watching.